Waves crashing on white sand beaches. Broken splinters of briny oak and soaked through cypress litter the glittering shore. Her voice rings out from the rocks, cutting through the starry night, foreboding the blood-red dawn. Ghastly faces wail in the water, dead and drowned, enthralled by a siren song. Torches gutter against the howling wind. Rival clans set aside their swords and fasten tight their furs. 2 iron crowns shall become one this night. But her voice rings out from the tempest-torn tents, and all who can hear her are entranced. A dowry of music so powerful that 100 warriors bend the knee to their new unquiet queen. The storm crackles and screams atop the hill. Her voice rings out through the empty castle, bouncing off the ancient stones. Alone in the highest tower, the echoes take shape, and ghosts walk the halls, a chorus of clashing chords. She hums her haunted harmonies, never knowing what's real, until the storm takes the stones, the castle crumbles, and she walks free from the phantasms, still humming, and remembering the cacophony.
Oh, man.
What kind of coffee?
This is poetry.
Guys, it's the visions.
Oh, it's a little noisy, huh?
My bet's on like a past life thing. I don't know.
What does it mean, Jonas? What does it mean?
He used you to get to me?
Yeah, I ain't Melody.
No, you're not.
Lavinia, how is my mother involved?
Good evening, travelers, and welcome back to the Court of the Jester Princes. I am your storyteller, Jonas Tintenseher, and we are playing Vampire the Masquerade V5, Midnight Gravity. Joining me tonight, our funky punk, Seth Coveyou.
I know what's coming. You know what's coming. I'm coming.
And who is coming?
Oh, is your mouth full, Jonas? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
But who is coming?
I expected a longer bit.
Didn't say his name, though.
Our diva with amnesia, Rachel Kordell.
Wow, rude. Not wrong. I'm Mars, and tonight's song is Memory Lane by Hale Joel.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nicely timed.
Our cutoff runoff, Casey Reardon.
I play Mathias Wilson, and are you thirsting for another Thurston fact?
Thurston fact! I knew that was coming!
Jesus, stop it. Seth the clairvoyant.
You gotta start taking points in Auspex, Seth.
We're doing a bit of research this session, so how about a Thurston quote about learning?
I like learning.
Howard Thurston is quoted as saying the primary excuse for being in college is to learn to do one thing a little better than somebody else. Any man who wastes his time with general courses is not fit to be among serious people. He is a thief of someone else's time. He should be put out to make way for a man who is earnest and sincere.
Oh.
Very against gen eds, I guess.
Our remorseful corpse, Andrew Frost.
My name is Antonio Stregano, and I want my mommy.
Oh, God.
I want Antonio's mommy, too!
And our
I have a gun.
and our refurbished dervish, Sky Swanson.
Sorry.
Birds.
This is all part of the bit.
I'm sorry, I'm getting
all part of the
conflicting
bit.
information. Suddenly I did
all
like
part of
one
the bit.
final... Goddamn.
And now entering a refurbished Mazda Miata.
We're going to do a fact about birds being conflicted.
Well, there doesn't appear to be any venomous birds out there. The hooded pitoi, I think that's how it's pronounced, is one of the world's only toxic birds with toxic wings and toxic feathers.
Yeah, don't put those guys in a group chat.
Mm-hmm. It gets its poison from its diet.
I'm on a ride.
Well, you just said it was toxic, not poison.
That
Which
is
is it?
poison, Casey.
But you said there were no poisonous
poison.
birds.
It consumes poison. No, he said there were no
are there
venomous birds.
venomous birds?
Oh, I wasn't paying enough attention.
Yeah, exactly. Reggie.
Howard Thurston would have liked to have a word with you, Casey.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Casey,
I'll just put myself out.
yeah, let's put on our listening ears.
Listening ears. Last time on Midnight Gravity.
And now, the plot.
Reggie took flight across the city, bearing witness to a few of the individuals and groups going after the Oculus. Timothy and Antonio visited Megara's daughter, where Antonio had an enlightening conversation with the Hecata Luvinia. And Mars and Mathias gathered at the Prop Theater, where they shared a heartwarming conversation about the nature of performance and art, before Mars slipped back into her memories and let out an ear-piercing scream. Mars, you are conscious of what is happening and lost at the same time. There is this duality of reality flickering back and forth around you that is slipping into three. Another theater, in another city, in another time. And as these memories are washing over you and you're back on stage by the ghost light illuminating the empty auditorium, the weight of the memories falls on your shoulders and you cannot help but scream. And Mathias, you were right to cover your ears in shock as you did, though no one could see it because this is an audio podcast. Mars is not only a trained singer, but empowered in her voice by the blood, and it is incredibly painful. I would like you to roll composure plus stamina for me.
Great. I love that. Both of those are not my highest stats.
It's okay. It's not a high difficulty. Just a little fun.
Just a little fun.
We love fun.
It's a hoot and a holler.
2 successes.
So you are able to clap your hands over your ears and shut it out enough that you don't take actual physical damage from the pitch and volume of her scream.
One of the little beakers breaks on the small lab.
Yeah, nothing important, but I think like one of the loose glass equipment shatters. And you just kind of look over like, man.
They don't make those anymore. God damn it.
But then, Mars, you stop screaming, and you are still where you were, although there are those other theaters creeping in at the edges of your vision.
Is it over?
Oh,
You okay?
oh, okay. I'm okay. Wow, that is. Was this ghost lamp always here?
So the ghost lamp is not in the dressing room.
I'd probably
It would
not
be
know.
up
It would,
by
it,
the
would,
stage.
it would be in the wings, yeah. So, no.
So no, there isn't a
We've
ghost lamp
been-
here.
Where are we? Where am I right now?
You're at the prop theater?
Got it. Okay. Yes, I am here. That's right. Okay. Sorry. I'm seeing a lot of things. No, that's not. That was the nebula in Georgia. That was. As I'm saying this, I close my eyes to collect myself, and when I open them again, I'm looking at you and Mathias, but I'm also looking at the face of another person who I once knew. And her eyes are just like looking dead at you, and she's like, Gordon.
Mathias.
Right. No, there was a Gordon. When during one of our bands that we did, there was I was at this. I basically had a residency at this this theater in Georgia called the Nebula, which this place is looking like, but it's not. And well, you're not the first thin blood that I know.
Well, I kind of figured as much.
Yeah, but you're not the first one that I've had a close relationship, I guess, with. There was this our stage manager. His name was Gordon. He he didn't know he was a thin blood because apparently he could go out in the day, but
He would still have to eat.
yeah, no, it was really complicated. Because at the time, again, I couldn't tell him that I was a kindred. Kind of had to maintain the whole I'm just a performer kind of thing. But basically, there was this one moment where the Camarilla were coming after him, and I stopped him from getting caught, kind of indirectly through a ghost. It's kind of complicated, but basically I told a ghost to tell him that the Camarilla were coming after him, and I kind of saved him. And that was the first time that I realized that, well, that thin bloods were a thing, and that anyone had a problem with them. And sorry, you just look so much like him right now. I need to sit down. And I find the nearest chair.
Yeah, there would be a chair over by, like, the workstation.
Mathias, roll intelligence plus politics for me.
Intelligence, politics. I do have politics.
I know you do,
Hey,
buddy.
there you go.
Look at that.
You want a blood surge for 1 die?
Yeah, why not?
Filthy thin blood.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know where that came
Ow.
from. I'm sorry.
Jonas.
I'm sorry.
Do we have
I'm
to
sorry.
re-sign you up for
I'm in
sensitivity
char-
training?
Ooh, 4
Jonas,
successes.
I don't know why you're apologizing for saying what's on everybody's mind.
Goddamn McClunky.
On 4 successes, this conversation triggers something in your memory. You know of a thin blood named Gordon. There is a somewhat prominent member of the Olympian conjecture up in Vancouver. His name is Gordon Toronto.
But he's in Vancouver. Why do they call him Gordon Toronto?
Gordon Terano. And he's like an alchemist of some skill, and another member of the conjecture.
This Gordon, what's his last name?
Toronto, I think, was his name. It was such a long time ago, but things are really clear right now. God.
I mean, I never met him, but I know him.
You know him?
By
You mean he's okay?
Yeah, by reputation, he's in, I think, Vancouver now.
Oh my god. I'll be honest, like, I had a pretty good relationship with the Hound in Atlanta, or that one in particular, I suppose. But she was gunning for him. She was saying that he was like, a masquerade breach and all of this stuff, and I couldn't see him die for something he didn't know he was doing wrong. And the only person who was around to help him was that spirit, Eliza. She was who told me he was kindred in the first place.
It's always interesting to see what the Camarilla considers a masquerade breach. Someone who is kindred and can walk in the day and doesn't even know that they're kindred. Seems like...
Well, he knew he was a vampire, but he didn't know he was a kindred. That there were others like him and rules that he was breaking. He was also an illegal embrace, which is grounds for final death. The worst tradition of them all, if you ask me. Anyway, he would go around feeding on people and wasn't doing it right, so they were able to track him. The only reason he knows anything was because I told Eliza to tell him all of, the Camarilla's rules and everything. This was also back in, 96?
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of a different world, but, especially if it was before the Week of Nightmares.
Different and not at the same time. That would still happen any time, any other place.
Yeah. No, sorry, I didn't mean to go down memory lane here. It's just very easy for me to do that, apparently. But I guess, I don't know. I feel like our relationship wasn't always on the best foot, but I hope you never thought that I had any prejudice against you for being a thin blood.
I walk into meeting any other kindred assuming that that is how they feel. It is this safest way of thinking. But
That's fair.
that's never been the reason that we have been on rougher waters, I guess.
Yeah?
I make a habit of keeping up with kindred affairs that pop up. It's one of the reasons I watch the news. Gonna keep doing callbacks, guys.
We love them. That's why they're so good.
What else do you watch?
Shrek.
You're goddamn right.
I knew that.
And because of that,
Oh. Yeah.
yeah, I've followed your career and your breaches thereof, and I guess it's not really your fault, but just gets under my skin that the rules are different for you than they are for me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when you say follow my career, you mean just the Furies, right?
I think he smiles a little bit at that.
Right?
I've been keeping tabs on things that happen in Kindred Society for a long time.
So then what else do you know about?
We don't need to get too much into it, Mars, but I mostly just know of what has ended up on the Mortal News.
Gotcha. Chicago really reached, I guess. Huh. Yikes. Well, yeah.
But we're not really here to reminisce at the moment.
No, trust me. I mean, I wasn't. Just yeah. Yeah. I guess I I know the rules are definitely different, and I mean Chicago in particular. I definitely, my head was on the chopping block for that one. But you know, it's not always a goal for these things to happen. But yeah.
Like I said, it's not your fault. It's just the way the tower's built.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Actually, very much sucks. I'm on your side.
I think he does pause for a moment before actually responding and saying, yeah. Yeah, I feel like all of you are. And it's only fair to say that there is change in the air that's coming, and it's not something that I think I even want to stop.
Oh? I mean, if it means, like, equality, then I'm all for it.
Thing is, I don't know what it's going to mean. I just know that it is going to mean a lot of death.
She's taken back by that. Oh. I mean, sure. But I guess whatever I can do to help.
He nods.
And I think when Mars says this is when her eyes and mental presence finally fall back on you, Mathias. I think this entire time her eyes have bounced around the room and witnessed in real time everything she's recollected on, which is why she was able to speak as clearly as she was. But finally, as realities shift back into place and the memories fade away, she says, and we start with the door.
Sure. I'll take the left half, you take the right.
Sounds good.
It is Dewey Decimal, so I don't know if you know library code at all, but...
Oh, yeah.
What a nerd. This isn't Call of Cthulhu. We don't have library use as a skill.
Oh, great skill.
When I was alive, I worked with kids, so...
Let's roll some occult rolls. Now, I'm going to treat this as Mathias rolling the rolls and Mars providing a bonus die.
Sweet.
Woo!
Because I don't think Mars has occult.
No, I do not.
Cool. Don't you also have occult library, Casey?
I do. And I think I have... How many dots in it? At least one. Yeah, because it's technically dots in Haven. You have
Yes.
overall dots in Haven, and then you allocate those to different things. So I have 1 dot for the occult library, and then I have another dot specifically for the alchemist supply stuff.
Okay, so you have 1 dot in library. So you'll get 2
Yeah.
bonus dice on this intelligence occult roll.
Ooh.
Great.
Big funny number, Casey.
And we're gonna do 1 roll per topic. So what are we rolling for first? Because I know there's a couple things we want to look at.
Yeah, I think the first thing is the thing that Mars wanted to come over here for initially, which was about changelings and what could be behind the midnight door with
Got it.
all of that kind of stuff.
All right, go ahead and roll. Intelligence plus occult plus 2 dice.
That's gonna be 6 successes.
Ooh.
6 successes.
Here
Okay.
we go.
Since the start of this chronicle, you've been looking up for information on the door and
Yep.
have not found much because it seems the door does not want to be found. But with the information that you have gotten from Lila and Sandman and other sources, you can start making greater inferences
Right.
and cross-referencing more and more information to pile into it. So on 6 successes, first of all, the way that the Sandman described the Umbra is pretty much the way that you and other creatures of the supernatural world understand it. There are these additional layers to reality that can be seen into, pulled from, and even crossed over into. There is the closest layer, which is the Shadowlands, where spirits go when they die and don't move on. But there are farther and deeper places. The Abyss, where Lasombra pull their shadow powers from. The Dreaming, where changelings pull their powers from, a world that is shaped by human thought and emotion and desires. And then beyond that, Arcadia, where the true Fae reside, where changelings are made, where mortals are stolen away to and tortured in these whimsical experiences. Whimsical though your library may not be. There's also a lot of mortal myth about changelings and the Fae. There's, any number of fairy tales. The Brothers Grimm are in here a lot. You know from the Germanic and European folklore, children being stolen, replaced,
What? Keep going.
Okay.
which was probably actually just like a child with an undiagnosed mental disorder, but in the world of darkness may have been an actual changeling or other Fae copy created to replace them. And then there's also in somewhat of a segue to the next topic, although we can pause to talk about this. You also note that one of those bloodlines that you saw mentioned in the alchemical grimoire, the Chiasid. The Chiasid are a kindred bloodline, a Lasombra bloodline, but who are somehow connected to Fae and to changelings. They have weakness to like cold iron, like Fae do, and something about their origin there is sort of shrouded in the Dreaming as well. Mars, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah. Sorry, you said something about stolen children?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a trope in most fairy tales in general. That's kind of what changelings are, is they are people who are taken by the Fae and then changed and altered somehow in Arcadia.
Huh. That's interesting.
Why?
I it just, that's a silly thought. Just know something about missing children. Or know people who have had missing children that were not recovered. So that's just an interesting thought.
I mean, people go missing in general. It doesn't always have to be something nefarious.
I'd argue that the intention behind any missing child is nefarious. And with as long as I've seen those lights, just I wonder what else.
Wonder
they've
what elf
seen.
took them?
Oh, that was good, Casey.
Too bad I retook it.
It's staying in now.
No.
Sorry, them's the rules.
You get a funny joke, it stays in.
Yep.
Fucking knife ears.
Salad eaters.
You pointy-eared leaf lover.
But yeah, I wonder what else they've seen. Just you know what? I trust you.
Hope so.
Yeah, I just
After I took you here and you didn't trust me.
that's why I'm saying this. I don't know where Nancy is.
Your daughter?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been kind of keeping tabs on them, my family, as best as I could for most of my unlife, or at least since ShrekNet was a thing. And she just isn't on social media and in pictures or cut out of things, or is maybe referenced, but not all the time. And I don't know. I've been kind of just suspicious of that for a while, and it's not just me. I really can't talk to anyone about this, but Mercury is also missing a child, and it's just been something that we've been thinking about for a while. And yeah, I mean, if they were taken by Faye or something, that would be just perfect.
Have you had a Nos look into it?
Oh yeah. It's weird.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's apt.
Well, it's weird that they couldn't find her. But that's kind of all I really need to say on that. Just interesting findings.
The second part of your question, what could be behind the door?
Mm-hmm.
You are looking into the dreaming, as Sandman suggested that the door might be a gateway to the deep dreaming, some part of the Umbra that was locked away long ago and now resurfacing. But Sandman did say that they weren't sure.
Right.
If that was the answer, because they haven't been through the door, they can only make their best guess as a changeling with a connection to dreams. And from what you're seeing in your books and the research you're pulling, again, this is on 6 successes. That's a really good roll. Not the best possible, but very, very solid. You're also noting there were also like connections to Seattle itself. And there's something about the door's seeming connection to the sprawl. And to Elliott Bay, you remember you saw the lights in Elliott Bay.
Yeah.
And Mars says she's seen them elsewhere in the country, and Antonio, during the Week of Nightmares, everyone has had different experiences with them. There are other and stranger things in this world of darkness. The genius loci of a city could be among them. The city itself is in some way alive. And you don't know if that means that that's what's behind the door, but you do know that the door has chosen to make its appearance here for a reason, if the door has a will. There are old and ancient entities that cannot be described in this world and beyond. And while there's no way to know for sure, it would explain a lot. Any conversation? Another topic?
I mean, I think that kind of leads into 2 of the other things that I wanted to look into.
Sure.
I've had a running list of things that I'm like,
yep.
When I have time to research, when I have time.
Here you go.
I'm here to help.
And then the other things that we wanted to research specifically at this time, which we could do if we're short on time, and we can just kind of
cut away,
breeze
cut back.
through the other stuff. Yeah.
I know that Antonio has some lingering business with his mother in the retirement home. Are there any other scenes or any other downtime stuff that people want to take care of?
No, I mean, I'm just kicking back this episode.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother. Jonas, can you put my beer crack sound again here so I can be part of it?
Yeah, you got it.
Or you could just method act and get a new beer.
I'm definitely not going to clip just this and not do the sound thing. Seth's face. I'll do it for you, buddy.
Thank you.
Put it in now, though.
Fresh brew.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do it just constantly, just through the whole clip.
You have a problem, Seth. No. They're going to get warm.
Jeez, Seth, I mean, a funnel is unnecessary.
Oh, Jesus, we got Wade Boggs over here.
He's doing a keg stand.
Okay, great. Then we will cut away here for a moment to Pacifico Mortuary Services.
Well, we can do a scene. Reggie texts Timothy, hey, you want to hang out?
Yeah.
Oh, you were supposed to say no. Crap. Okay. All right, I guess scene moves to us hanging out.
Yes,
Yes, and.
We don't do that here. We do no fuck you.
Where do we hang out, Reggie?
Stop it, man. Let's move on. God.
You're in the Aerospace Museum.
Do we go to your cave?
And scene.
Wow.
Can I get a time of day? Can I get a time of day?
They fly.
Time of night. Time of night.
It's the time of day. Anyway, Antonio,
Hello.
you are working at Pacifico with Dante. It's a usual casual kind of night. You have any conversation for Dante that you might share after your recent trip to the ship? Your recent ship trip?
So, looks like one of the reasons the clan came was to handle Cross, if you catch my drift.
Oh. Merda.
Yeah. According to Luvinia, they didn't get there in time.
It didn't. So they didn't do it.
Well, that I'm not sure about. I think I have to talk with my mother.
Huh.
She was there right before it happened.
You say that, and Dante looks over at the door like he's expecting her to walk in at exactly that moment.
Oh, come on.
And she does not.
Okay.
He says, well, she'll be around, I'm sure.
So why don't you feel the call?
The
beckoning.
I'll get to it when I get to it. he kind of puts on a smile like, yeah.
No, there has to be a reason.
Yeah. Chichoto, I don't know. Some say when the Hecata were formed at the family reunion, that was our beckoning. So perhaps it simply will not come. Or perhaps it is only delayed. That's a secret. Don't tell any of the Camarilla. They won't. That's our thing.
I don't plan on telling the Camarilla anything.
Okay, good. Bene.
It would make sense. We don't exactly have an elder.
I'm an elder.
Well, you know what I mean.
A founder. Yes, it's a shame what happened to Cappadocius.
Did you know him?
Know him? No. Just heard stories. That was the olden days before the bloodline sort of consolidated.
A lot of mystery about the clan, huh?
You have no idea.
Between the Cappadocians, the Harbingers, Salubri.
Salubri? Who said anything about a Salubri?
Was a Salubri one?
No, Salubri's a different clan.
Oh, I take it back.
What's a Salubri with you?
What's a Salubri with you?
Cappadocians. Oh, the Lamie.
It is a tricky thing to be sure, bringing together so many disparate kindred. But, well, the next time your mother comes around, I will tell her you're looking for her.
Yeah, it'll be sooner than later.
I'll tell her that Timothy was looking for her. Sorry.
I have a gun.
Classic. Yeah, in the interest of dramatic pacing, let's cut back over to our research team, the prop theater, for now. We'll see where that goes later. I know there are a lot of research topics, so...
The first one being the hole that the Thin Bloods had been disappearing into.
Okay.
Speaking of disappearing people. Second being the King of Shadows, which could be an entity that is older than a lot of other things.
Let's make one roll for, like, the esoterica.
Yeah.
Because they're not necessarily connected, but they are kind of, like, obscure.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to tell you stuff, so I don't want to make you roll a bunch of failures for each thing.
Ooh. 5 successes.
Ooh.
Cool.
And
On 5 successes.
I'm going to willpower those 2 dice to
Nice.
see if I get a crit.
Yeah.
You could.
Heyo.
All right.
Another 6 is pretty good.
I'll take 6 again.
So you don't know, like, the whole is, as described, the wording of a particular Malkavian detective. So you don't find anything on the whole. But what you do, you do think back to the chaos of the mass embrace from 5 years ago. You were keeping your head down. There was a new Thin Blood who kind of ended up under your wing, Carrie Sefter. Antonio is also familiar with them. You were really trying not to draw too much attention to yourself during that time. There were a lot of deaths and a lot of chaos in the mortal community. So in all the chaos of the mass embrace, somewhere between, like anywhere between 10 and 40 Thin Bloods may have been created in one night. Many of them died. They were either executed or died in a fire that happened soon after that killed a lot of kindred, or they were eliminated afterward by the hounds, especially Maria Palma. Some of them may have escaped the city. gone on to greener pastures, one or two of them joining the Olympian conjecture, and many disappeared. Nothing to pay any particular mind to, but as Mars said and as this detective said, 4 of them seem to have disappeared into Magnolia. That was their last known location before never being heard from again. And while you can't confirm what happened to them because they simply disappeared without a trace, but it is more than possible that they fell into the door, which does seem to pop up here and there, even to those not able to open it. It is also possible that they got lost in the sprawl, or that they simply fell victim to some other terror of the night. But this hole, you do know that there's a reason Magnolia isn't in any of the clan domains. It was never parceled out, and in all the time that you've been in Seattle, the only people who have ever claimed a portion of it are Clan Malkavian. And then, even then, only like the eastern half. The closer you get to the water, the less anyone seems to want to go there. Which is why you guys got the Double Tap as your domain in the surrounding neighborhood, because who cares? No one goes there. You're welcome to it.
Also, it's cool.
It's pretty cool, but not to the business people in charge. I just can't picture Alec Cross, like, chilling at the Double Tap on a Friday night, you know what I mean?
It's because he's a fucking square. That's why.
It's because he's
That's
dead.
true.
That's why.
Well, that's
Pile of ash in the corner booth.
Dead ass square.
As for the King of Shadows, this is somewhat, it's both more, you're able to find more knowledge and less. The King of Shadows is a known quantity. There is this figure who is under London, holds what is called the Court of Shadows, and is known to kind of reward people who do jobs for them, acts as like a courier spy network type thing. Definitely in with the Kindred of London, but not necessarily a Kindred himself. It's not clear he's the King of Shadows after all. Likes to stay out of the limelight. I think on that 6 successes, and from what Chaz mentioned about him and what you've learned about the door, you don't know that they're connected exactly, but you do feel like there is a connection, as in the King of Shadows might be to London what the door is to Seattle, or something like that. And what was the last thing? Was there a third thing? Or was that it for the Esoterica?
I think that was it for the Esoterica, and then
cool.
It's we wanted to look into the bloodline.
Yes.
Mars's bloodline, the Daughters of Cacophony, and did I say one other thing? I feel like there was probably.
That's all I remember.
Was there anything that Mercury and Venus were able to find out in addition? Like,
so I'm gonna give you a bonus 2 extra dice on this roll from their help, which you can kind of consolidate.
So that's gonna bring me to 4 bonus.
4
dice?
bonus dice. Yep.
Cool.
That's so many dice.
They're not occult experts, so they looked into what they could and they messaged Mars, basically.
Gotcha.
That's a lot of dice.
I'm gonna. Do I rouse check? I have 4 extra dice. That doesn't really seem worth it.
Do it.
We're not gonna do it.
Want to go for the full 5 extra dice?
Can I rouse check for us?
No.
Can I offer willpower?
I have plenty of willpower.
Yeah, okay.
Can I offer willpower?
I can use mine. It's fine. I still have some.
I have a clean bar of willpower.
Get a yummy critical.
It's a fresh night.
No yummy critical.
I said what I said.
I will let you spend willpower on that if you want. So there's 2 dice you can reroll.
All right.
Go for it.
Let's get that crit.
Come on. I'll do one more.
One more.
One more.
Hey, sometimes the doubles have what you need. So
who knows? Maybe you'll crit
there's a
again.
chance. Nah.
That's
Take
more
one.
like
7
it.
successes.
But 7 successes is a very
What?
strong roll.
Ridiculous.
Blood is your thing, Mathias. You do know a lot about it.
Yep.
And now with the name in hand and the connection to Mars, you know what to look for in your extensive library and what Mercury and Venus can find out on their own as well.
I'm like a test subject.
Yes. And what you find is that the Daughters of Cacophony, who are often referred to that way, even though the bloodline is not all female necessarily, there's an alternate name, the Sons of Discord, and some people even just say the Cacophony if they want to be gender neutral, but Daughters is the historical name, are a bloodline who possess a unique power of the voice, known as melpomene, which can, similar to the discipline of presence, can kind of alter and sway emotions, but much more subtly and hidden in the power of a performance. For this reason, for their ability to affect mortals and kindred, to influence people so strongly and subtly, importantly, they have often been sought after as tools and pawns by other kindred over the centuries, and often kept in captivity, kept staked, kept under domination, kept under a blood bond, or just killed if they couldn't be convinced to work with the local power-hungry kindred in question. And on 7 successes with the divisions that Mars described, you find some information that confuses you. Because a bloodline of kindred is necessarily from one clan. If you embrace a new kindred, your child will be the same clan as you. That's how it works, unless they become a caitiff or a thin blood. But the Daughters of Cacophony are seemingly nebulous, and they have apparently popped up as Toreador, Ventru, or Malkavian. And there are sort of differing origin stories for each of those.
So Toreador, Malkavian, and what?
Toreador, Ventru, and Malkavian.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah.
There are 3 of them.
Oh, God, not you two.
What?
Just a lot of 3 of them stuff.
Well, it's weird that just the bloodline in general can come from different clans. That's not how it works.
I mean, as far as I'm aware of a Toreador.
Well, yeah, you would be, but the fact that other Daughters of Cacophony can be Malkavians or Ventru, it doesn't make sense. The whole idea behind a bloodline is that it is a line. Singular. It doesn't branch off. Not like that.
Yeah, well, that's weird. I wonder if that's why Felix is around. He's a Ventru. I just thought he was like the finance guy.
You think he's the Daughter of Cacophony as well?
I mean, he can't do what we do, so as far as I'm aware, no. Although, honestly, there's a lot of things I don't know about Felix, so I don't think I would be surprised. But no, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't have a song in his head, and I don't hear it when I am around him.
Speaking of the clan curse of the Daughters of Cacophony, reason that they may even not be a bloodline at all, but a clan of their own, is that they have a unique bane. It is known in kindred circles as the fugue, this unceasing song in a member of the bloodline's head that reacts to their emotions, and if they listen to it too often, can often drive them to frenzy due to its relentless nature.
It has a name?
Oh, makes sense, doesn't it? If the Daughters of Cacophony have been around for as long as, well, most other bloodlines, then I'm sure somebody would name it. It's weird that Elliot didn't give you any information about this. Do you think he knows?
I mean, again, another thing that wouldn't surprise me. We've just called it the earworm this whole time because we didn't have a name for it. In fact, we didn't even know that we were anything special. Like, in terms of, like, performing and being able to kind of affect people with it, that's kind of something we just had to figure out.
Well, if Elliot does know, I guess it would make sense that he wouldn't tell you. If history is repeating itself here, then it makes sense that keeping you in the dark would be an easier way to manipulate you. But if he's being used by Lou...
And I will also note that a fugue is a musical piece composed of multiple voices singing together.
Probably 3.
Can be 2, but often 3 or more.
We know it's 3. Just stop.
But as that word comes to mind, Mars,
Yes.
the song plays again. That song that played in the green room. You hear it thrumming in your own earworm, your fugue, the siren, the wedding, the tower. 3 parts played against each other.
Do you think these songs are special? Do you think they mean anything?
Well,
Like, to the kindred?
to the kindred themselves as a whole, I don't know, but there's a chance that it could be prophetic. I mean, Daughters of Cacophony can also be Malks, so
It's true.
I don't know what any of it means, but that's probably something Runa would be able to figure out more than me.
Yeah, no, definitely talking to Runa about it would be useful at some point. I don't know. I'll have to worry about that kind of later. But that is interesting. I just, sorry, I'm just a little distracted by the song.
So this Melpomene,
Hmm?
we kind of experienced it when you were told to play at Elysium.
You did?
Yeah. I wasn't sure what was happening at first. Honestly thought that in a weird state of revenge, Elliot was tampering with the equipment that you had, and that was what was causing what was happening. But knowing now that it was coming from you, I mean, he still was probably trying to do something, but...
I mean, I wasn't... You're not supposed to use disciplines at Elysium. I wasn't trying to do anything.
I'm not saying you were trying to. I'm saying that something happened.
But basically what you're telling me is that I used a discipline at Elysium.
I wouldn't say that to anybody else, but...
I mean, neither would I. But, wow. Well, if you said that... I mean, if that's true, that is interesting. I'll have to talk with the band about that.
Yeah, if the three of you could, I don't know, try and figure out what you're doing and how to harness it, that might be beneficial to at least prevent Elliot from having you use it without your knowledge.
I mean, well, we know how to use it. I mean, I've
Oh, that was the harmonica thing. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, sorry.
I was wondering kind of why you would just blow a harmonica at a guy. I kind of thought maybe it was just a stress reliever or something, but...
That was Reggie's suggestion.
Yeah.
No, I was... why did no one realize? He was, like, significantly more subdued after I was playing.
I don't know. Timothy kind of had him wrapped up in chains.
Okay, well, it did something, all right? Yeah.
So you've known you've had this other discipline this entire time, and you didn't think that was weird?
No? Why would it be weird?
You talked to other Toreadors?
I wasn't really allowed to talk to a lot of people, I guess. At least, I don't know. I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't think it was weird. I mean, not a lot of Toreador become musicians. I mean, some do, but not all the ones that I got to talk to, if I got to talk to them. I don't know, I just thought it was just presence, basically. Like, I mean, I didn't realize it was its own thing. Like, I just thought it was just like, look at me. Kind of.
Right.
Like, kind of a little bit of dominate, a little bit of, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I was kept in the dark, so we're all just learning this together. Freaking 60 years of this fucking bullshit.
Well, it might help if the band starts to try and figure this out, and you can give them all of that information.
Yeah, no, I will. Especially the idea that, I mean, the idea that Elliot could make us use the ability is just something that's beyond me. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
It might not be about forcing you to use the ability. It might just be about having you perform and you just using the ability by nature of your performance, and that's just what he wants. He wants you to use it, and your performance is just using it. I don't know.
What are we trying to do? I don't know. I'll talk to the band about it.
He wanted to manipulate the feelings of people at Elysium. That's why he had you play.
I'm very upset.
I can imagine. Look, I know the shit with Elliot was not great, and we don't have to get into it, but you have other allies, other friends who will keep him at bay as much as we can. Still can't fucking believe I stood up to him like that, but...
I wish I remember it.
He's scared. And scared animals lash out, so...
I don't know Elliot is scared, but I hope that's how he is. I hope so.
All right. We pan away from the prop theater and back to Antonio. As you said, it is sooner rather than later. I think maybe 4 or 5 nights after your visit to Megara's daughter, you receive a call at Pacifico Mortuary Services.
Pacifico Mortuary. How can I help?
Antonio,
Hi, Mom.
I know things are moving quickly in the city, but I'd like to take that visit to your brother before things kick off, as they say.
Sure, it's a good idea.
Oh, I'm quite certain. It's important.
All right. Do you want me to pick you up?
Meet me there.
All right.
Heatherwood, yes?
Heatherwood, yeah.
Madison Valley?
Yep. Looks like you have been keeping tabs.
Oh, Dante told me. Do you go, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
You want to invite Timothy?
I think I'm good.
Oh, what?
I tried, Seth.
Fuck you, man.
Let him hit on your mom in front of your elderly brother.
I've been sitting in this goddamn chair for over an hour. Let me hit on your mom.
Let me at your mother.
Timothy, roll 1d10.
Oh, come on.
I'm not gonna.
You get a 10.
I've never wanted to manifest a 10 more. Come on.
2.
Oh, 2.
Oh.
I would, Andrew would love to have Seth in the narrative, but I don't think with what Antonio wants to talk about, he'd rather just do it one-on-one with his mother.
That's fine.
I'm sorry, Seth. I'm sorry.
It's because you're
Damn it.
ashamed.
Reggie's not there either.
So you go to Heatherwood Assisted Living in Madison Valley. Not like the most elite of assisted living facilities, but it's a nice place. White porte cochere over the driveway and nice individual buildings for the residents to live in. Rosalina's inside, sitting in a chair by the front desk waiting for you. She has already activated the Blush of Life. You may wish to do the same.
I will. For once I shall.
Not even hungry. You greet her.
Hi, Mom.
Gives you a little hug. Tonio, thank you for meeting me.
It's good to see you.
This shouldn't take long. I just want to pay a visit. We only have each other for so long. Your brother is getting up there. I'm glad to see that you've been keeping in touch with him.
It's not right to leave him alone, you know.
Hmm.
I did enough of that during the war.
She takes your arm, pats your shoulder, starts walking you through the facility.
I feel like there's a lot we gotta talk about. I know you were in Cross's office right before he died.
Tonio, these are not the things to discuss in public. Anyone could be listening.
You're right.
This isn't about that. You enter one of the communal areas. This is early in the evening, like 7:30, and you see that there are residents, elderly folks ranging from like 60 and up to their 90s and 100s, playing cards, chatting. Many have, of course, gone to bed already, but you do see your brother off in the corner playing cards with his buddies. And you enter, and Rosalina says, "I just wanted to give you a reminder before you and your coterie start making waves. The things that we live for, even in this life of ours." She raises her eyebrows. "It's for family. You know, Tonio?"
It is. You're right.
She walks over to Marco's table. You see this old 90-something-year-old man, heavily wrinkled face, white hair, cataracted eyes, sitting with some of his buddies there. One of the nurses comes over and is like, "Mr. Stregano, there's someone here to see you." He's like, "Huh? What is there?" And Rosalina says, "Marco, it's your niece, Rosie." Goes, Rosie. Glad you're here. I'm about to go to bed. David already went to the room, so I'm not staying out too long, but it's nice of you to drop in. She smiles.
We'll be but a moment. This is Anthony.
Anthony. Oh,
It's good to have a face to the name.
yeah. Thanks for it's nice to get your letters, Anthony. I appreciate you keeping track of an old man like me. We tend to get lost in these places.
Yeah, everyone gets lost everywhere.
Don't I know it? Puts a hand to his chest. Oh, shit. Nurse comes over. He tries to like help him out of his chair. He's like, no, I'm fine. My family's here. Family. And Rosalina takes a step back and smiles at you, Antonio. Family.
Ohana.
La Familia.
Yeah. Literally.
Vin Diesel.
That's what I was going with, yeah.
That's fair.
I think seeing his little brother like this upsets Antonio on a level that he can't really explain. He knows that death comes for all, and there's plenty of life after. But I think those memories come flooding back of Thea, of people he's known. And there is that kind of regret. But he kind of shakes himself out of it and looks at his mother, still not really sure what this is all for.
She smiles and pinches your cheek. She says, just keep him in mind as you make your choices. I know you'll do the right thing. Anthony. You always have.
So, how are they treating you here, Uncle Marco?
Good enough. The dinner options are shit, but what can you expect? David's always complaining about it, but he can't remember his own what he had for lunch, so, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Dad used to make Grandma's sauce a lot.
Oh, I would love to have some of that sauce.
Yeah, so would I.
And Rosalina says, maybe we can bring you a pot, Uncle Marco.
They're treating you well, though.
I'm fine. Don't worry about me. You got a whole life to live. Focus on that.
I know, but it's good to be comfortable.
Comfort on... Man, it's good to do something important. Antonio understood that.
Yeah, he did. I don't want to keep you awake for too much longer.
Good, because I'm fading.
All right, now, we'll let you go to bed. It was real good to see you.
Nurse helps him to his feet. He kind of totters over and gives you a very shaky, fragile hug. And then one to Rosalina as well. And he looks up at you, and his eyes are, again, very cataracted. Not fully blind, but he definitely can't see your whole face. And he just looks at you as best he can and says, you're going to do something important. I know you will. Good on you, Tony. He pats your cheek. And he's shuffled off to his room.
I think Antonio just stands there for a minute and just walks out of the home before he really has a chance to gather his mother.
She does not follow behind you. She just lets you go. And so closes another chapter of Midnight Gravity.
Woo!
Oh, my heart.
My heart.
Thank you all for listening.
Oh, I have so many questions.
Yep.
Well, that was sweet. It was very sweet.
Very sweet ending. A rarity.
I know.
My little heart.
Just get ready for next week, am I right?
Oh my God.
Before we get into our plugs, please give a listen to this trailer for The Heart is a Dungeon podcast.
Do you not want to cry with us? You can cry with us. This is a unique experience. I haven't done this in some time.
Cried?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I don't believe I have anything to cry about just now.
Are all of my features Corvid-like again, or...?
All of them but your heart for now.
Oh, but then my heart is like the size of my body.
Possibly.
Yeah, I'm a little wobbly. It looks like I'm very full.
Those with hearts that big always have to walk carefully.
God damn it.
I don't hate you. Why would you think that I hate you? I've never hated anything. I'm just heartbroken, and I just start openly weeping.
I think this takes me towards winter.
Oh, Pippa! Oh no!
I really, do not like this form.
Just let it go, Lal. Just let it go.
You continue to wound me.
The Heart is a Dungeon podcast, a TTRPG adventure for heroes and poets. Join us in this series and 26 friends as our fairy circus explores the land.
There's no ending without the plug master.
Yes, thank you, Plugmaster. Please.
Here we go, Jonas.
Oh shit. I'm gonna plug Reggie and Timothy, who were hanging out at the arcade all day or all night because they didn't do anything this episode.
Reggie thought they were playing a video game, but in fact, it was just the coin return.
Just messing with the coin return.
Hey, picking up
I keep putting my
from in
coins
holes
in.
is a pretty good game right there.
You put in $1 and it makes a jingly noise.
It's crazy. It's the best game I've ever played.
No, but actually, you can still check out Team Elsewhere's newest game, Anomalous Intake. It is a free Eldritch paperwork sim thing. It runs in your browser. It's got full voice acting from friend of the show, Chris Dane. And we've got a lot of awesome comments and feedback. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Ratings and comments would really help us out. You can find that on my itch.io page, or you can go to team-elsewhere. That's team-elseware.itch.io. Should be right up at the top, and we would love to hear what you think. Thank you so much.
Very good, Casey.
I'd like to use my time to congratulate both Andrew and Seth for their nominations in the Crit Awards.
Woo!
Seth was nominated for Best Instrumental of the Year by a musician in the TTRPG space. Man, that's a mouthful. For the theme for Midnight Gravity. And Andrew was nominated for Best Cover Art for Midnight Gravity.
So cool. Thanks to everyone who submitted nominations for us.
If you want to support us and support them specifically, please check out our socials. We have links to the final voting for the Crit Awards.
There'll be a link in the episode description as well.
And there's a bunch of other stuff on there, but if you could give us a vote for both Seth and Andrew, that would be absolutely amazing.
Good, Rachel.
You can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Majora's Rose. You can check me out on my personal socials at Rachel Kordell everywhere. And you can also, you can do some other things. You can listen to my playlist. There's some music for you to listen to. There's, I was on that table business episode. You can listen to that. So fun, so fun. Thanks, guys.
Good. Sky.
Leave us a review, please.
Good night.
Good night.
Good morning.
Good night.
Good morning.
So, are they though?
They are roommates.
They were roommates.
And they were roommates.